Hello, welcome to Discourse 7 of the Philosophic Integration series, June 2020. So, Discourse 7, the theme is understanding how to become karma immune and to remain in the energy of divine grace. It's that practice of remaining in the energy of divine grace that will keep you free of earthly karma and allow you to create much stronger and powerful conditions for a continued spiritual practice and deeper peace in the midst of outer uncertainty. So I spoke a lot about emotional healing, purifying your heart, and getting balance in the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And I then went on to say how the union of those two attributes in yourself creates inner harmony, and then it repels the outer forces that are not aligned or not having your best interests at heart. Those opposing energies go away, and as a result, you have a lot more power. So you have the power, you have the emotional integration, you have the peace, and you have the downloads of divine grace that are basically helping you on the spiritual path to complete the process of dissolving the human form and entering into a deeper relationship with Source or God. So before I talk more about karma immunity, it's important to understand a bit more about what this grace actually is. What is this power or this energy that's coming through and dissolving your ego and removing parts of the human form? What is it about this energy from another reality that can totally fill you up with a very powerful love energy and provide you with a very different understanding into the nature of reality? At this point on the path, it can be useful to take a lot of time to reflect on my life journey and what's happened to me, but also to reflect upon your own spiritual practice and your own experiences and start to ask some deeper questions like, what is this energy from another world? What's its purpose and why is it coming into our awareness now? And how can we use that best in our spiritual practice to make an ascension? Because you can hear my talks, you can read my books, but ultimately that's only a transmission tool. The real energy is behind the books, behind the discourses. It's an energy from another world that comes through me, and it uses me to talk, to share, to write, or to host retreats. It's not me, the free spirit, that's doing that. I'm just the instrument of a higher power, a higher force that uses me to facilitate transformation in very attuned individuals. So it could be said that I'm a vessel for a higher force that's coming through to effect healing and change in individuals that are very open to my message. And ultimately, that force, that grace, that higher love coming through is a mirror for you to be able to accomplish the same in yourself, to make contact with that higher dimensional energy, however you perceive that, as God or love, as an alien energy. make friends with that energy because it's very benevolent. It won't hurt you. It's grace, it's love, it's insight, it's the energy of enlightenment, and it's a different dimensional frequency that's looking to dissolve our attachment to the human form and the ego that keeps us bound to the wheel of karma. It can only work if you allow it to, and I find in my experience, in my practice, I can only allow it to work more in me when I try and understand on a deeper level what that is. I can have a look at that force, that power, that grace intellectually with my mind and get some insights, but that's not enough. I also have to look at it from the perspective of love and feeling and energy. How does it feel in my body? How does it feel in my heart chakra? And I have to balance those two perspectives to get a deeper understanding and a look as to what that grace actually is. Then, once I've done that, when this grace, this power from above, or other people might see this as receiving downloads from star beings that like ramp up one's energy. It doesn't matter what you call it, but it's a phenomena that all of you have experienced to some extent. Once it starts happening, then you've got to start to deal with the massive changes that are going to start happening in your earthly life. So this touches on the theme of becoming karma immune, because the grace, the love, the power of the star beings that have come through and worked on your energy very deeply, if you allow it to, as I said before, it's going to purify a lot of your human form. So that means a lot of your earthly karma is gone. It means a lot of your ego karma is gone, and your attachment to the reincarnational wheel of death and rebirth will be significantly weakened. So the chances are you're either going to be a non-returner, or perhaps you might need to come back once to tidy up a few more things, or perhaps you can physically ascend either from the physical form without death, or going through a death process and then ascending. It doesn't particularly matter what route you have to follow. What matters more is just being authentic to the process and staying aligned to that higher power as much as you can, and doing the spiritual work as much as you can, no matter how difficult it is. When it gets very intense, very challenging, or there's a lot of resistances, as I said before, you have to start opening up your heart energy and opening up to love. Then you have to ask the higher power, your source, your star beings. You have to ask them for help and for grace, for blessing, for healing, for intervention in your life. When you're open to that and you ask for it, then you're going to receive this energy in your life. But you have to understand it comes at a price. The more you jettison the human form, the more kind of obligated you are to work with the higher conditions of that descending grace. So you might have to make difficult decisions in your life. You might have to get a bit more monastic. You might need to gather your soul group together, and you may have to resolve some remnants of very tough karmic craft. So when you come into this deeper understanding of divine grace, when this power from the star beings has really entered your life on a very deep level, and you feel very impermeated by an alien reality from another world, or permeated with the energy of the astral, this is a very fortunate sign on the spiritual path, more so if you can attain that through fasting and brahmacharya and emotional purification without having to use the ayahuasca, because it means the astral energy is far more integrated into the body, and the chances are when that alien energy, the love of the star beings, is far more integrated here, then you're going to see the results of grace. You'll find your earthly life works a lot more, and there's also a lot of power and clarity in your everyday life. You know, once you've balanced out the divine masculine, the divine feminine, you're going to be more in balance energetically, and your heart's going to be open, and this energy that it always wants to come, and it will continue to come to the extent it can come. That's grace. Once you've burned off a big chunk of your earth karma and the human form, once you've jettisoned a big chunk of attachment to your ego, you've already allowed the grace to come through, then it has to continue to do its work to complete your spiritual process in this life, whatever that may mean for you. So being karma immune means you stop making more karma. The grace that comes through to an extent will prevent you from making serious fuck ups. You don't want to be very complacent on the path. You always want to be conscious and aware, but by and large, once you've got the descent of grace, it's going to be more difficult for you to make additional heavy karma. Having said that, you need to be conscious, aware, and together in every aspect of your practice. Once you've jettisoned a big chunk of your karma, you're going to start understanding how karma works, and you'll see the relationship between the thoughts and themes running in your energy and the manifestation of events in your personal life and in your spiritual journey going back several lifetimes. If you can see into that, once you've detached a big chunk of attachment to the karmic reincarnational cycle, you'll realize how massive the energy of karma is, and how difficult it's been to even get to the point where you can take a look at the karmic wheel from outside. That's grace in itself. Once you have that perspective, you think, okay, I'm perceiving reality from within grace and outside of the grist and grind of earthly karma. That is a very fortunate event to experience, even if it's for a very short time. You'll know when you get that, because it will be perceived as a very graceful, ascended and kind of separate reality from the perspective of earth karma. But what you have to do is maintain the intentions in your life to stay open to the grace, to the power, to the star beings, and use that as a teacher. You'll find by and large there won't be very many human teachers that will be able to help you at this stage of the path, and ultimately that grace, that force, that power from God or source, that is your teacher. The degree to which you can surrender to that is the degree to which you can live in the good karma and the fortune of grace in this life. You know, you want to open up to that, because if you're going to be karma immune, you know, I've talked a lot about working off heavy karma or energy caused or just karmic attachments to the ego, but there's also something called positive karma in every life. You also have an allotment of white stones that you've accumulated, earned, gathered. However, you have these white stones wherever you got them from whatever lessons. You have to also experience good karma. If you're closed to grace, you're closed to experiencing the positive karma of your efforts. And to be closed to experiencing positive karma is making additional negative karma in itself. If you're going to ascend, if you're going to become non-returner and wrap up this story about being born again and again into 3D worlds, you have to allow yourself to experience positive karma, because it's positive karma that exists between the negative karma and the total release from the karmic wheel entirely. And it's the allowing yourself to live in positive karma, opening up to the grace, is going to give you the conditions to do the integration work. You know, philosophy is work. It takes years and years and years to turn around in your mind all the advanced spiritual concepts along with all the experiences you've had in your life and make a deeper sense of it. You can have understandings and insights, but it solidifies with time. It's work. It takes years and years in monastic or semi-monastic conditions to advance enough on the philosophic path to integrate the many mystical and astral out-of-body experiences you may have had. So it becomes vital to allow that grace in, so you can be purified of your karma, so that you can then cash in your karma white stones and then generate this sanctum in your energy, in your surroundings, to contain the energy of your spiritual practice and to hold the very high level of the vibration that you've attained. So creating a sanctum, what a sanctum is, I'll pick up on in the next video, but for now I'll leave it there and I'll speak to you in Discourse 8. Okay, free spirit out.